there, worst book ever fans. Okay, today is Reedsy. Reedsy is, I can't get over Reedsy. Reedsy is too much. Reedsy is a lot, and I'm just going to touch for less than 30 seconds on the main thing it does, because we're not even going to use that at this moment. But I want to let you know what it is. So here, if you go to Reedsy.com, they bring you to what they call the marketplace. And this is where, for example, we can get editing, design, publicity, marketing, translation, ghostwriting, website, book review services. Okay. So let's say, back at the marketplace, let's say you actually love your book, or your next book is fantastic and you need an editor. Don't say, Bradley, could you edit my book? No. You're going to come here. And this is where I go. This is where I send people. We've got developmental editing, nonfiction, search by keyword, whatever your keyword is, and you're going to get these people. One quick note. I met the co-founder of Reedsy. We had beers in London, and he said of 100 people who apply to be whatever, editor, publicist, or whatever, they take maybe 3. So it is a refined warehouse of awesome professionals. So that said, we are not going to be using this during our worst book ever. This is much more for your best book ever and to get it even better or best. Okay. We are going to go up here to the left to my books. So Reedsy offers this book editor, which is Fantasmico. And this is what we're going to use. However, there are 2 options here. I could enter a new book title right here, and I can click create, and I'm ready to go with a blank book. However, I'm going to take it one step further, and I'm going to give you 2 quote unquote books to get started with. Okay. So let's do that. Let's call this one, my, worst book, right? For you, my worst book ever. And this is going to be the book. So I'm going to import instead of create, which would give me an empty book. I'm going to import something, and then I'm going to drag and drop a document that I created for you. Here, I can go here, select it right here, and it's going to be something like worst book ever structure. Okay, worst book ever structure, import book. So what this is going to do is it's going to make chapters for you so that you just have to sort of fill in the blanks. Here we go. So it's imported, right. So now this is your book. This is where you are going to be writing your book, your worst book ever. By the way, Reedsy is awesome possum for your best book ever, for any book you need, because, and believe me, I will talk about this a lot, you don't need any formatting. You don't need any manuscript revision. You are going to save so much money by using Reedsy, because Reedsy, at the end of the day, you have 2 buttons. One is for your EPUB, for your digital book, and one is for your paperback. Okay. And it's all right here. There's a quick tutorial here. I highly recommend looking at this just to get an idea of what Reedsy can do. And also what it cannot do, by the way. It can't do funky fonts, and that's a good thing. You don't want to do funky fonts. So what you see is what you get, and this is how your book is going to be formatted. Okay, did the tutorial, and check this out. Over here on the left, we have story, problem, connection, solution. I'm not going to get into the details of this here, but just so you know, here is a structure for your book, right? Story. And so read this. This is not blah, blah. I wrote this stuff for you. And this is not how to structure your book, a methodology to structure your book. And it's basically here, story, problem, connection, solution. Okay, that's it. Implementation, action, right? So these steps, and I'm not going to get into this is how you must structure your nonfiction book. That's a huge topic that if you have your own methodologies, awesome. But this is one of them. Story, problem, connection, solution, implementation, action, and maybe some steps, which could be stories, right? If you don't like this one, you know what? I don't need step 3. You come over here and you delete it. Okay. So I come over here and I would say, delete chapter, gone. Step 3 is gone. Bye-bye. Okay. That was one book. Remember I said I'm going to get you 2 books. This is where your actual book is going to be. Okay. So, let me not forget but I will show you more Reedsy later, but here, this is key. And let's just go ahead. I did the front matter. I'm going to do all of these because all of these are key to this challenge. Because one thing about this challenge, by the way, and you're going to think I'm a nutcase, but that's okay, is I want you to focus not even so much on the core content of the book, but everything around it. I think the everything around it, you know when the painter paints the house and they do all the blue tape everywhere and it takes them like twice as long to do all the blue tape and the prep as it does to actually paint the house? That's how I see books. That's how I see idea creation, idea formation. So here, for example, I'll get into entire lessons on stuff like the dedication and the epigraph. Okay, forward is what somebody else writes, preface, acknowledgments. Okay, we're going to get into all this stuff, and then about the author and also by. This is the stuff I'm going to focus more on all these other things than the body of the book. And you might think, Bradley, you're a nutcase. What are you talking about? We're writing a book. What about the body? For me, that's kind of a given. The given is that you know your content, and I want like 3 chapters of story, problem, connection, solution, and that's it. The focus here is going to be around all of this so that you can write your book better. Okay? All right. That is a book structure. One more thing. Let's get back to our sort of main dashboard. And of course, they always put you back to the marketplace. My books. Okay, there's my worst book ever. We just uploaded that one. We are now going to upload another one, and we can call it worst book ever metadata. Call it whatever you want. It's sort of our workbook, our worksheet. We're going to import again. And again, I'm going to go get something from my computer. And there it is. It's going to be called playbook. See, it's called playbook, warehouse, metadata. Okay. And this is a separate book from, in Reedsy terms, separate book. Yet this one, and again, just go with me here, but this book is almost more important than your actual book. This is the metadata. This is where we're going to be working on stuff. Okay? So the reason I've made 2 books is because I'd like you to keep this one as a worksheet, as a workbook. And then when we're done with the worst book, then you can just hit publish and it's ready to go. And you don't have like notes all over the place. So this is the notes all over the place. This is a place where you can take notes, where we're going to be working on the books. And so if you like Google Docs, you like Word, you like notes, you like whatever it is you use, awesome. But I want to give you a structured way with prompts, right? See all these chapters here? So each one of these chapters has a purpose. Each one has a task. We'll be talking about book titles. This is a place where you can then work on your book title. And also I'm big into where's my stuff? Where are my files? Didn't we have a shared Google Doc? For me, it's always in Reedsy. And it's going to be one of these 2 books. It's going to be your book or your metadata book. And I'm going to get into all of these. And here are structures, 5-word hooks. I'll be talking about this in the lessons, 5-word hooks. And you say, gee, Bradley, where do I write my 5-word hooks? Here. Okay. Book description. I have a whole layout about how to do your book description. Quotes, questions, reviews, categories, keywords. This is all what they call in the publishing world metadata. And it's not necessarily stuff that's actually going to be in your book, but here, for example, categories, like here are categories. I'll get into that, but this is your workbook. Okay. So if that's your workbook, now we have in your Reedsy, if I go back to my books, you have your worst book ever metadata and your worst book ever, your actually book. So this you would change to, your title. And by the way, if you're thinking, how do I change my title? I go over here. By the way, manage. Remember, they're often going to send you to hire a professional because that's how they make their money. Remember, the tool we're using is free. But I did that manage, and then I go to book settings, and I can change my book title right here. See? And your subtitle and description. Remember, we're going to be using all of these things. By the way, here's where you'd upload your book cover. Okay? So I changed my title, save, back to my book. Okay, Reedsy also has fantastic tutorials everywhere. Check it out. Reedsy is just a dream. But for now, I'm trying to keep this simple. All we're going to be using for the time being is this My Books section. All right, that was Reedsy. Here are your 2 books you're going to need for the challenge, your actual book and the metadata book. Get those set up and we will move on to the next steps. But this is a great one to bookmark, right? Because this is where you're going to be doing the actual writing and the assignments. All right, see you in the next video.